Despite growing concerns in Israel and around the world that Iran could be on the brink of producing a nuclear bomb, the top Israeli general is now reportedly suggesting just the opposite, and it's raising some serious eyebrows, including right here in Washington. And Republican Congresswoman Michele Bachmann of Minnesota is here, the former Republican presidential candidate, a member of the House Intelligence Committee, and to some of the missions you've been on lately. But your quick reaction to what we are now hearing from the Israeli military's chief of staff, Lieutenant General Benny Gantz, quoted in Israeli newspapers as saying this about Iran and its nuclear weapons ambitions. Iran is going step by step to the place where it will be able to decide whether to manufacture a nuclear bomb. It hasn't yet decided whether to go the extra mile. I don't think, and he's referring to the Ayatollah, he will want to go the extra mile. I think the Iranian leadership is composed of very rational people. You agree with that assessment based on everything you're hearing?
I don't agree with that assessment at all. I had Michael Oren, the ambassador, in my office yesterday.
The Israeli ambassador.
I had him in my office yesterday. I traveled to Israel to meet with the Prime Minister, Netanyahu, to talk about the situation with Iran. And ironically, the night that I was flying into Ben Gurion Airport in Tel Aviv, there were 110 rockets that were sent into Gaza, and the Iron Dome was deployed. That doesn't happen very often. And the good news is that when the dome was deployed, there wasn't one Israeli that lost their life. But what it showed is that this is a very real, persistent threat that Israel faces. There's never a time when Israel does not face the threat. But I think that people on the ground in Israel recognize that Iran has only had one ambition, and that's to develop a nuclear weapon and use it against Israel.
Because what General Gantz seems to be saying, he seems to be on a different page than the Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, is that the Iranians have not yet decided to go ahead and build a nuclear bomb, that they're very rational, and they're considering all this deliberately, and there seems to be no rush, at least on his part, to take action.
I don't see that this is rational, what Iran is doing. But I also think that we also recognize that Iran is not going to publish a memo when they make the decision to go to nuclear weapon capability. They will not be posting it. So no one will know when they actually do. That's Israel's conundrum. That's their problem. They can't wait until Iran is already nuclear weapon capable, because there is no reaction time on Israel's part. Israel has to have the right to create survival for itself. That's really where they're at right now. We're in a very difficult place. I don't think Israel wants to in any way have to attack Iran, but it's very clear Iran hasn't taken any steps. This is easy to solve, honestly. It's easy to solve. Iran just has to surrender their enriched uranium. They have to stop and cease all production of enriched uranium. They need to dismantle some of their nuclear weapons facilities and have continuous open doors on inspections. Do that, and the rest of the world will supply any medical isotopes they want for cancer research. Done.
Let's move on to another issue, Afghanistan right now. You were recently on a congressional delegation that went to Afghanistan. One of the members, Dana Rohrabacher, the congressman from California, he was here in the Situation Room with me this week. He was prevented from going to Afghanistan, a country that receives billions of dollars in U.S. assistance. Hamid Karzai doesn't like him. First of all, your reaction to Hamid Karzai's decision not to let a democratically elected member of the United States Congress visit his country?
It was preposterous, especially when you consider that he receives about $11 billion from the allies that are helping him in his country right now out of a something over $12 billion budget.
He didn't meet with you when you were there, Hamid Karzai, did he?
He did not, and our intent...
Was that a snub?
We had, well, that would be, Louis Gohmert was the one in charge of the delegation. He was in charge of our delegation. And we had a mission. We had a threefold mission: to visit our constituents who are soldiers on the ground, to assess the current situation in Afghanistan, and third, to meet with the Northern Alliance. It was unfortunate what Karzai did.
By not allowing Dana Rohrabacher to come in.
By not allowing him in.
What was your reaction when that the Secretary of State Hillary Clinton and the Secretary of Defense Leon Panetta said that he shouldn't go at this time, and a U.S. military plane that was waiting in Dubai to fly you, the congressional delegation, and him to Kabul wouldn't take off if he were on the plane?
That's right. We thought it was preposterous and outrageous. We felt that the Defense Secretary and the Secretary of State should stand by the members of Congress as opposed to stand by Karzai.
So why did you go, and your fellow members? Why didn't you say, you know what, if Dana Rohrabacher isn't going, I'm not going either?
Well, there's two reasons. First of all, we had our mission, which was to visit the constituents, meet with General Allen. General Allen was in my office 6 weeks ago and invited me to come to Afghanistan. So I came at his request. And number three was to meet with the Northern Alliance. We decided that we could continue that mission and succeed in the mission. Dana did not want to be an impediment. There's one other piece, Wolf, though, that you left out, and it's this. Ryan Crocker, our ambassador, who I can't say enough good about, and also General Allen, they were in the process, particularly Ambassador Crocker. He was at 11:59 and 59 seconds on negotiating the deal for handing off the baton for leadership in Iran from ISAF, the International Security Forces, to the Afghans to be able to run this conflict on their own and defeat the Taliban. This agreement was completed while we were there. We did not in any way want to turn an international incident into preventing this agreement from being signed. This was months in the making. And so we didn't want to be the ones that would prevent this from happening. Over this weekend, Wolf, I stood over the bed in the ICU unit of a soldier who lost his legs due to an explosion just a couple of hours earlier. We are not willing to let one more soldier lose their legs or lose their life because we started an international incident. We think Karzai, we think Secretary of State Panetta and Hillary Clinton could have done a better job in how they handled it. But at the same time, we didn't want our actions to prevent this agreement from being signed. And I want to give kudos to Ryan Crocker, who went to hell and back to get this agreement signed. He did a wonderful job negotiating the terms.